Here is in the well of the House a chart listing the status of the structurally deficient bridges eligible for replacement, state by state. We also have a smaller document at the committee table that members can take with them. But this shows 589 bridges on the interstate system and 2,067 bridges overall on the national highway system that are in the structurally deficient category, eligible for replacement, and that is the standard by which we in this legislation determine whether a state qualifies for moving money out of its bridge account. We're just saying, once you've determined that you have structurally deficient bridges, fix them first, and we're saying those that need to be replaced, not those that need adjustments, but those that need to be replaced, do that first, then transfer money out of your bridge account. States have transferred the money out of their bridge account, as I said earlier, in the state of Minnesota, didn't address their bridge needs, and then the bridge collapsed, they're looking for a handout. Well, if we're going to continue in the future with a category for bridge maintenance and replacement, then this is the standard we should have. We can make the determination in the next legislation, and I will rely heavily on the gentleman from Tennessee and the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Micah, gentleman from Oregon, Mr. DeFazio, chair of the Surface Subcommittee, who has one of the most severe bridge problems on Interstate 5 in the state of Oregon, on whether we should continue with the idea of a category for bridge funding. But if we do, then we have to have better standards by which bridges are built, maintained, and inspected. And this legislation puts us on course toward that goal. Now, I want to show what has happened. The gentleman from Florida, Mr. Micah, cited the speed with which the state of Minnesota has responded in rebuilding the bridge. These two photographs show the bridge replacement in two phases. The top portion showing where it was just about 3 weeks ago, and the bottom portion with only 2.5 feet separating the two segments, the north and south segments of the bridge. I was on that bridge on Sunday afternoon, observed the extraordinary work, the speed with which the bridge was constructed. This is the way we should build bridges for the future, with sensors embedded in the structure itself. Sensors that tell the temperature of the bridge, the coefficient of expansion and contraction. The wind velocity pressures on the bridge will be detected by sensors in that structure. There are also long in use rollers on the bridge so that it can move north and south, expansion and contraction, but much higher quality than ever before built into those rollers. There is also ice detection system operated by temperature, so that before freezing conditions are encountered, de-icing may be sprayed onto the bridge structure to prevent icing conditions. These are highly advanced technology systems that have not been built into bridges previously in as many sensors as are going into this bridge. There are also sensors that detect the minute cracks that can develop in a bridge and alert bridge engineers before something serious happens. That's the kind of quality that we need to build into future bridge construction and maintenance and replacement. Now, the questions that have been raised about the transferability, frankly, I am really troubled that in the last 5 years, states have transferred $5 billion out of their bridge account and then turn around and complain that they don't have flexibility. We give them flexibility to transfer up to 50% of their bridge account into other programs. But then they turn around and complain that that this legislation will restrain their flexibility. We're saying as long as we have this bridge category, as long as there is a definition of structural deficiency, that states should address those structural deficiency issues, those structurally deficient bridges, and if they are if they're candidates for replacement, replace them. Use your bridge formula funds to replace those bridges. And then when you've done that and certified the Federal Highway Administration, you've addressed those, then you can transfer those funds out elsewhere. So that there is no limitation on the flexibility of states to use their bridge formula funds so long as they comply with one issue, and that is certify that where you have structurally deficient bridges that are on the national highway system that should be replaced, that you have addressed the replacement issue. Commonwealth of Pennsylvania has the highest number of structurally deficient bridges in the nation, yet they transferred $2.2 billion of their federal highway bridge funds out of that program into other needs of the state. Well, over the same period of time that since 2003 they transferred those dollars, the number of structurally deficient bridges in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania increased by 500. You can't have it both ways, I'm saying. We have a category for bridge construction, maintenance, and replacement, and you transfer money out of it, then you can't complain that you don't have flexibility. You can't complain that a bridge fell down because there are other needs. Address those needs first. The Highway Bridge Program represents about 11% of the overall funding level of the current law, Safety-Loo, but as the Office of Management and Budget has issued rescission orders, cutting funds from the overall Surface Transportation Program, $3.4 billion in rescission of contract authority have come out of the bridge program. So states are victimizing their bridge formula program when the rescissions come. Now, maybe we should make the whole thing a block grant program and not have categories. If we do, then states will have all the authority they need to shift dollars around. But I think that over the years, the categories, successive Congresses, in the 50 years of the interstate highway system and the Highway Trust Fund, have concurred in the categories of funding. They serve a useful purpose. And we should maintain those categories, make some adjustments in them. I think we should revisit the needs formula, as the gentleman from Tennessee has suggested, and other members have done. We should perhaps rewrite the entire needs formula. But that is a matter for next year, not in this. I thought we ought to have a down payment of $1 billion to get states started on addressing their structural deficient bridge problem, and expand that funding next year when we get into the authorization period. For the moment, I think this is what this legislation represents what we can do and should be doing in the short term to set the stage for a longer haul revision of the bridge program. Again, I compliment the state of Minnesota on the Department of Transportation for moving ahead so vigorously on I-35W and leaving a great legacy for the future.